Next. Grand Rising. Next. Queen. Next. I'll take you out when I get paid. Next. Can we do next Friday? I don't have money this week. Next. Hey y'all, welcome back to Through with a Splash of Tea, a podcast where we either speak to brilliant people, do this thing one-on-one, or have best friend chats with my best friend T. I'm your host Cass, and let's get right into it. So today I want to talk about the modern day dynamic between men and women, because I think it's so incredibly fascinating. So let's just hop into it. Okay, so if you're a millennial, you grew up in the early 2000s. So you grew up in very much an environment where pop culture was so surrounded around like male humor and like male dominance and like using the woman as more of a prop. Like you would have like the blonde bimbo that would just say a line and it'd be like something that doesn't make sense so people could crack a joke, or you would have like the pretty girl next door who wouldn't say too much or add too much value to the conversation, but she'd be pretty and standing there. It would be a lot of that, and you get that from like the music, regular TV shows from the early 2000s, movies that blew up, the American Pie series, things like that. So like we know that that was the vibe of the early 2000s. Very much like it was very much like the frat housey vibe. Like the bros ran the situation. So therefore it makes sense for us to have landed where we have landed now, where it's very much a female dominated world that we live in. When it comes to the US, I can't speak for any other countries because I don't live there and I don't really know how cultures have really changed in other countries, so it wouldn't be fair to speak on that. But I'm going to speak specifically for the US. So, like I said, I can completely and fully understand how we got to the space that we're at now, which is a very female dominated atmosphere, a very advancing for the female space. I honestly love it. Like I love how much, like, not freedom, I don't want to say that because it makes it seem like we were in shackles in the early 2000s, but how much liberty now females have, and like how valued our like opinions are, and how not even we cross the threshold of needing validation from males. We've created a space where it's like, okay, no, we're carving out, because you guys didn't understand what you guys had in the early 2000s and you used us as props, and we were just like these like cute things that would spike up the ratings in any TV show or any movie if you just put us in a crop top and the belly button was showing, like because of that, we were able to like claw out of that environment and out of that culture and create a new culture where it's like, forget even needing validation from the males. We're going to create a culture where we just feed off of each other, and we just grow on each other, and we just band together and understand the true power that women have, the true value that women have, that we weren't really able, or I don't know, not we weren't able, because no, I don't think we were able. I don't think in the early 2000s women had enough of a platform to be able to have the advancements that we have now. For example, one of the biggest ones is the Me Too movement. For women to be able to band together and be like, hey, like these things happen to us. Those of the women that are being truthful, these things happen to us, and I'm going to speak out, and it doesn't matter that this guy is a huge name in Hollywood, or it doesn't matter that this guy is my boss, or it doesn't matter who this guy is. I'm going to speak out and tell people my truth. I love that we've been able to get there. Like, and it makes sense to me how we've been able to get there, because a lot of the times in this culture we live in extremes. And so the first extreme was the fact that women were like like undervalued completely, and then now we are in an extreme where women, I won't even say we're overvalued, because I don't maybe I'm a little biased, but I won't say that we're overvalued, but women really are taking the reins when it comes to culture as a whole in the US. So again, I understand how we've gotten here. growing up in the early 2000s, I get it. Like, I completely get it. Like, the fat shaming, that whole culture was just like a little wild. It was a little animalistic. It was a little animalistic. And if you want like a good like synopsis of what it was like in the early 2000s, there's two documentaries that I will recommend. And first is Woodstock 99 on Netflix. That was a good one. And the Abercrombie and Fitch documentary, also on Netflix. A very good depiction of what life was like in the early 2000s. So if you want a deep dive into that, those two documentaries are good. Okay, so now that I've discussed how I understand how we've been able to get where we are, I'm going to discuss some things that I'm a little nervous about. Okay, so the big idea that like makes me nervous is the fact that history often repeats itself. So just like fashion trends come back, wide leg jeans, Fila's, just like normal fashion trends tend to return, so does history, honestly. And if we don't prepare ourselves, or if we don't learn from what happened, then oftentimes it repeats itself either identically or worse. So what I'm trying to say is we started at a point of women being undervalued and used as props, and in this very like frat boy male dominated decade, and we've transitioned to a decade that's very female driven, like women empowerment. Women now have a say, but beyond the say, like we will say something and it's not just like you heard it, it's like no, we're gonna act on this. Like you need to act on it, because if a man said it, you would have acted on it. So now we're gonna create a space where it doesn't need to, I don't even need to say, if a man said it, I'm going to say something and you're going to act on it, because that is now the realm that we live in, which is beautiful. But what we also dragged into that realm is this like distaste, or like I feel like this like undervalue when it comes to men. And that's what makes me nervous. And I want to choose my words wisely, because I don't want it ever to sound like I'm not a girl's girl, like I'm not on the girls' team, like I'm not team female. I don't want it to ever be that. I think that women, you can still uplift other women, and you can still boast other women, and you can still be a feminist in the original sense of the word, and you can still be team woman and not also have to bash men. And that is what makes me most nervous, because I think we are in a realm of getting to the extreme where we're getting to a point of bashing men. Like, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do da 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 da. There's always going to be low down men who can't do nothing. There's always going to be that, just like there's low down women who can't do nothing. So I think we need to do more. We need to spend more time focusing on the men who can do stuff, the men that maybe don't say, what can you bring to the table? Like, a man that says, what can you bring to the table, and you're literally rolling your eyes when he says that, is not the man that you should be in the same space with. What can you bring to the table? I'm actually shocked. I'm actually not shocked, because the niggas that I dated, they weren't corny. Like, I feel like that's a corny dude that says that. What can you bring to the, like, that's corny. Like, I never dated no corny. Thank God. Oh, all right. I can't say never. Yo, I wish I could say his name, but my first boyfriend ever was, all right, he was kind of a cornball, but I was like 14, please. It doesn't even count. But other than that, I never dated no corny dude. Like, they was never corny. And I feel like, so what can you bring to the table? Like, what real man is going to ask that? Like, come on. Like, no. So I think it needs to make sense. I think you can't be a woman that wants to advance and really take advantage of where we are now in this day and age, which I think every woman should. I think every woman should do anything and everything that they want right now, because this is our year. Like, these are our years. These are the years for the women. Like, a woman can do, like, we could potentially have a woman president, like for the first time ever. And I don't care about politics is not my thing. I'm not a big politics girl, but like listen to that. Like 2024, this is a time where we could potentially have the first female president ever. Like we had a woman run before, she did not win. We could have the first female president ever. Like if this isn't our time, I don't know what is. Like, so I think that every woman should be doing anything and everything that they can do right now in order to advance themselves, because this is the time for us. But while doing that, you have to understand, okay, if I'm going to be interested in finding a spouse and finding a man, then I need to understand what caliber of man I should be looking for. If a man is asking me what I should bring to what can I bring to the table, that is next. Grand Rising, next. Queen, next. These are just personals. I can't. I'll take you out when I get paid. Next. Can we do next Friday? I don't have money this week. Next. Like, it doesn't need to be like, oh, all the men are this and all the men are that. They're all trash. They're all like, no, you're just looking in the wrong spaces, baby. Your brain is up here and you're looking down here where you was used to be looking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago for the dudes. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, especially somebody that is A1, somebody that doesn't even need to formulate the sentence, I bring XYZ to the table. That's crazy. What do you bring to the table? It's a man asking you what you bring to the table is crazy. And if you don't believe that, then there are some books that you should read that will elevate the ideals, yourself ideals, and have you understand that that's crazy. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Art of Seduction, 48 Laws of Power. Is it 48? Yeah, 48 Laws of Power. Like there's so growth. There's so many, but Untamed by Glennon Doyle. That's a different that's good. Yeah. So yeah, like no man, like no. What you bring to what is that? That's not even. I don't even understand the question. What do you bring to the table? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm a woman. Like I'm a woman. I'm not gonna say it, but I want to say it. I have to fucking say it. I like, come on, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. What you pour into, I multiply. I forget the table. I grow. I make anything grow. Anything you have, I grow it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I am the teaching you how to fish. Forget giving you a fish a day. I am that. I am the abundance. I'm the what continues. Like, it's just it's crazy to me, so that question. But anyways, like, it does, like, again, it's an immature question for an immature crowd of people. And that doesn't align with who you are as a woman. I'm talking to my ladies right now. That doesn't align with who you are as a woman, especially in this day and age, this time where you can be, say, and do anything. And number two, I love where we are right here as women. I just don't think it needs to be aligned with bashing men. I think we can still find value in men. And I'm not saying I'm not saying, hold on, don't take this as you have to be a pick me for a man or do anything in order to please a man. Or not going that far. I'm just saying that we can be in a space of understanding that this is a time for women. This is our time, and this is a time where women are going to do everything and anything that they want to do, whether it has to do with family, whether it has to do with finances, whether it has to do with mentally, or anything that a woman wants to do. It's her time to do it right now. I think we can be in a space of understanding that, as well as a space of still knowing that there is value in men, and that we essentially I'm not going to say it, but I am going to say that there is a lot of value in men. And yeah, we don't have to be mean in order to understand that this is our time and we're on top right now. Yeah, I mean, hey, just call it what it is. At least in the U.S. In the U.S., this is the woman's time. And hey, y'all dudes, y'all had your time, so don't even play. And y'all had your time when the economy was booming, like from the 90s up until like the recession in '08, y'all had your time. Like, give us our time and then we'll see where it goes. But I just hope that in the fact that history does repeat itself, I just really, really hope that we don't go back to that like frat boy. But I don't think we would ever let it get that like, nah, I don't think we would ever go back there, because it was just gross. It was just like a gross time. We let the guys run the ship and it was just like a gross time for the country. But yeah. But yeah, I don't think it needs to be like F boys. I wanted to do the middle finger, but I didn't. F boys in order to know that women are on top right now. I don't think it needs to be that, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching if you watched. Thanks for listening if you listened. And you can catch Through with a Splash of Tea every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on all streaming podcasts as well as YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.